Hello traders, welcome to Apex FX. It's Alan right here again, and as usual I'm super excited to have you here. We're going to have a look at the market and what to expect for the new week. So if you are new to this channel, click on the subscribe button and turn on post notification so you won't miss subsequent videos. And also I would just like to say happy new month. Today is 2nd of October. It's a new month. I wish every one of us the very best. If you've turned on post notification and you've subscribed to the channel, let's quickly head straight to the chart. So the first thing we're going to be looking at this week is dollar index DXY. Let's see how the market has progressed in the course of the last 2 weeks. And I also like to apologize. I was not able to make a video last week to send. I had a little technical issue, so I was off my chart until about mid into the week before I was able to come back to my chart. By then I couldn't make a video again, but overall the week was a great week. It was a very great week. I took about 3 trades or 4 thereabouts, and my week was in good profit. It was a very good week for me. I didn't have any loss at all. So let's look at what the market is going to be like this week. So this is dollar index. This is the monthly time frame. As we can see, we have been predicting higher prices on the dollar, and that's what we've been seeing all through. So if you can see clearly now, the next point where I'll be expecting the resistance for the dollar is going to be around 116,500, because we have a new supply there, and it looks to be that dollar is heading straight to that zone. So I'll be looking for longs, pretty much longs on the dollar. That's on the higher time frame, but the monthly doesn't have so much to tell us here, except for these zones marked up, for this supply zone marked up, which price is heading for. So let's move to the weekly time frame to see. Okay, here on the weekly time frame, I can see that the past 2 weeks have been bullish, but last week closed with some sort of rejection here on the US dollar. So if this push to the downside continues, I have some zones here where I'll be expecting the dollar to come and retest. We have this demand zone that was created here. Price can still push back into this demand zone before we see a push to the upside. Maybe we see something like this. Price pushes back into this zone, then possibly a push to the upside from that level. Because just looking here, I can see that we had a break of structure here. We had a break of structure here. So with this break of structure that has happened here, I can see that this is the zone that has been left unmitigated. But let's push to the lower time frame to see how it looks like there. Let's take this off. So I'll just go straight to the daily time frame. Let's see how the market is looking. So here on the daily time frame, I already have some areas marked up where I'll be expecting price to actually react from. So we can see that last week we had a last week was pretty bearish on the dollar index. It was quite a bearish week on the dollar index. So we have this zone here that I have marked out, this supply here, which price is currently into. But when I look at this chart carefully, I can actually see that this is the move that caused this break of structure to occur. This is where the break of structure happened, and this was the move that led to the break of structure. So this is pretty much a strong zone here where price can actually bounce off of the upside. But this zone here looks much more solid to me. In this case, this zone here looks much more solid, because this is where the move that led to the break of structure started from. But that does not mean we won't be taking note of this point as well. We'll be taking note and seeing how price develops from there. So moving this to the 4 hours time frame, basically we'll just be following structure here. So I've marked up the same zones here. This is the 4 hour zone, and this is that large daily zone which we marked from the higher time frame. So now price has been pretty bearish, making lower highs and lower lows. As we can see here, we have a high, we have a lower high here, and price has pushed broken below this zone, so we may see a retest back to this zone, then a drop back into this level, then possibly a push to the upside, or we come back to this lower zone before we see a push. But basically we'll just be following the order. As long as we keep seeing this bearish momentum on the 4 hours time frame, we'll keep going in that direction, but bearing in mind that the dollar index is already in a key zone where we can expect some reactions from before the overall bullish continuation takes over. So in short, we can say that the dollar is currently retracing and it's quite bearish, but overall we should expect a pushback to the upside in the next few days, or let's see how the week progresses. So that's it on the dollar index. Let's move straight to Euro USD and see how the market is looking. So Euro USD tapped into a key level, which is a key demand area, and we have seen the reaction from that zone. We can see last month reacted heavily from this demand zone that price tapped into. So bearing this in mind, let's push down to the lower time frame to see what we get. Okay, this is much more like the opposite of the dollar. There's nothing so much here. If you see here, we can see that we had a supply zone here. Price has come back. Price is currently pushing back to tap into that supply zone possibly, and I have some lines here. This signifies we have an imbalance in between here, which we may be seeing price coming to tap into, possibly push the upside into this imbalance, maybe fill this before it drop to the downside. This we cannot tell yet, but we're going to be watching how the market progresses. Let's push down to lower time frame to see this market clearly. Okay, so here on the lower time frame, this is the daily now. This is that same weekly zone that we have marked up. Then this zone represents that fair value gap that we marked from the higher time frame. But I have a little detail added here on this time frame. I have this daily zone marked up here. I marked it in a transparent rectangle because I don't want my chart to look too dirty. We have this supply zone here. It's a daily supply zone, and now price has come back and tapped into that zone, and we are seeing some level of rejection from there. We could also consider this zone a valid zone for a sell if we begin to see a change of character from that zone. Also, if we measure it, let's see. Now yes, that zone is also in it's a little bit above discount, so it's not a bad zone to be looking for sales from. That is if price does not come back for this weekly zone. We're not going to just get fixated on this weekly zone. We're going to be looking out for how price progresses from this daily zone marked up here as well. So with this in mind, let's see the 4 hours time frame for possible setups. Okay, so far Euro USD is still looking bullish. We can see that it's breaking its previous highs. We have something here which was broken through, and this other one that has been broken now. So possibly we may see a push back into this level. We have this zone marked up here. Price can come back into it, then a push to the upside. But if for any reason we see a break below this low, then possibly price may be pushing back to the downside. If we have a break, we expect a push to the downside. But for now, I'll be favoring a push back to this zone possibly, then a continuation to the upside, possibly to tap back into this imbalance we have here, or this weekly zone. But if for any reason we see a break below this low, then our structure is changing back into bearish and we should begin to look for lower prices. So that's it. Let's move to GBP USD quickly. Alright, on GBP USD we also have the same thing happening. We have this monthly demand zone here. Price tapped into it. That's about 1.04000. Price tapped into that zone, and we saw a massive rejection from that point as well. So let's move to the weekly for clarity. Right, what do we have here on the weekly? Basically price has been dropping as well. This is the monthly zone marked up. This is a monthly supply zone that we had marked. Let's go back to see it clearly. Yes, we have this monthly supply zone here. So with this rejection, possibly we may be heading back for this monthly supply zone. So bearing that in mind, this is it marked up here, but I can see another zone here. This is also another valid supply zone that we can watch out for. This is a weekly supply zone. Price can actually tap into it and reverse from that point as well. So we're going to have that in mind as well. So let's move to the daily to see it clearly. So now on the daily time frame, yeah, perfect. This is very perfect. So the daily time frame, this is the zone we've marked out from the weekly. I would just take this out. Perfect. I would just, sorry, I'm having a little glitch happening here. Let me see how I can manage that. All right, perfect. So bearing this in mind, I'll just take this out. So this is the zone we have marked out from the weekly time frame. Now you can see that we have a break of structure that happened here, then a new supply that was created here, which price is currently tapping into. Now this supply zone also aligns with this higher time frame zone that we've marked here, so I know that there's high possibility for price to react there and we see a sell continuation to the downside or possibly a pushback. If you notice, I have this trend line as well. Price can still decide to come this high possibly before a sell continuation to the downside, but we can bear in mind that where price is currently is also a valid zone where price can react from. Price is also in a valid zone where it can react from, so we'll not, if we see sales begin to happen from this point, we may start looking towards taking them as well. Let's drive this down to the 4 hours time frame to see. All right, so these are possible scenarios that can occur. Price can actually tap into this H4 zone here and we see a sell continuation to the downside, but before any sell will be, before we can expect long-term sell, we want to see this level broken off first. We want to see that level broken off before we can expect it. But price can sell from here, or we retrace a bit back into this. We have a supply here, a demand rather. Price can come back into it and push upwards, but if we have a break below it, we can expect lower prices. So these are the two scenarios, maybe a bounce into this zone, then a continuation to the upside with these other zones, these weekly zones as our targets and the monthly zone as well as another target, for a break below this and lower prices to the downside. So let's move to gold. All right, gold monthly time frame. As I can see here, gold is actually heading for a key level at about 1589000. Why is that a key level? Because just looking at it from here, that point was actually the resistance, a resistance which can now act as a support if price comes back into it. Now remember that we had this zone that we're expecting gold to break, and gold has broken all of those zones clearly, so I can say gold is much more like on a free fall now to about 1589.000. Okay, so let's break that down on the lower time frame. Let's slide lower. Let's go to the weekly for clarity. Now coming to the weekly time frame, let's change it back into candlesticks. There's nothing so much here on the weekly time frame for gold yet, aside the fact that gold is heavily dropping, but I can see this zone here. Yes, we have this particular supply here. Let's change it. Yes, we have this supply here which price can actually push back into, and we're going to expect price to react from that zone. But let's move it down to the daily and see how it's looking here. So this is gold on the daily time frame. This is that weekly zone we have marked off. Yes, but before that zone we have this daily zone which price can actually still react from here. Now this zone here, price can clearly react from that zone and we can see a sell continuation to the downside. Taking note of this daily supply zone here, which is just directly below this weekly supply zone. Let's break it down to the 4 hours to see if there is any clear price action. So currently the price action is still bullish on the 4 hours time frame. Before any sell can be confirmed, we want to see this low taken out first. So whatever is happening now could just end up as whatever is happening now could just end up as a retracement. Maybe gold will just pull back into this level, then you push the upside, but for any reason we break below this low, then we can expect lower prices to the downside. So that's it. Let's move to US oil quickly to round up. So US oil as well, just as predicted, has been dropping and dropping and dropping. So currently US oil has dropped here about 76 level. and we have a monthly demand zone here which it has slightly tapped into. So we're going to be watching the months to see if price is going to push deeper into this demand zone before a push to the upside, but we'll bear in mind that we are actually in a key level and price can actually react from anywhere around here. So let's move down to the, I'm having a little technical glitch, I really don't understand. Okay, so coming to the weekly time frame, I have this weekly supply marked up here where price can actually react from. Yes, I have this weekly. Now price pushed but failed to tap into it, and the whole of last week closed as an indecision. But let's write down to the daily for clarity. I want more clarity. Okay, so this is that weekly zone marked up here. Then I have another daily supply, just watching this price action here, because as we can see the order flow is very bearish. We're making lower highs and lower lows. Now it is this daily move that led to the break of structure. Now where did the break of structure occur? This was our last low and it got broken. This was the candle that led to the break of structure. Price have tapped into it and we can see a good sell pattern that has actually formed there for people that may be wanting to go short yet. But for me, I would like to slide down lower to the 4 hours time frame to see if there is anything I can get. So on the 4 hours time frame, the market has not actually changed character yet. Some will argue that this is actually a break of structure here, then this can be referred to as change of character, which is not wrong as well, but we have some levels here which can be filled before price can push up. But I'll just follow the order flow. What I'll basically do here is go back to the weekly time, to the 15 minutes time frame or 1 hour, watch the order flow there and trade in the direction of the market. Now, but the moment we see a break below this low here, yes, this particular low, it signifies that price is willing to go lower. But on the 15 minutes time frame, you can already see that the market has switched from bullish to bearish, because this was a clear break of structure on that time frame. Give me a moment. This was a clear break of structure on the 15 minutes time frame. Very clear break of structure. So maybe what I would be looking for now is to wait for a retracement back into this level, then I'll short back to this point and I'm going to wait for another clean setup before I know what to do next. So that's going to be it for today. I'm really sorry for the technical glitches I'm having, and I hope to have that sorted before my next video. So till I come your way again, I wish you good luck and good trading. Cheers.